Hello again, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf from my not undisclosed location, actually here in the offices of Meister Media. And Eric, still holed up. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Paul. I actually very surprised to see you in the office. I know I've been getting emails because of how rampant COVID infections have become in our particular state here in Ohio, that the office was sort of off limits. So I see that you apparently had either divine intervention or some type of insider information that allowed you to enter the building and actually turn the lights on, which is really impressive. So.
Well, I know where the light switch is, for God's sakes. But
Well, I know, but we had that snowstorm earlier this week that knocked out power a lot of places. So I wasn't sure the building actually had electricity. So,
well, we have a generator too. We are, a 21st century company. Anyway, so I got special dispensation because we were doing the PACE Executive Series webinar today. So it was great to have the bandwidth and the reliable electricity and reliable internet. I think half the company is still at home. The folks that are at home are without power, internet, one or the other or both. So I was thankful to be here just to make sure it was stable, because our lights were flickering yesterday. I don't know about you, but we've had flickering lights and brownouts and all sorts of hijinks. So this was kind of a special case, and they let us come in. So we appreciate that. But I will say that the PACE Executive Series session we did on farmers, we had a couple of really terrific panelists. Jim Farrell and Natasha Cox, along with David Widmer, who was our moderator. I'd encourage you to go back and register and listen to that if you didn't get a chance to hear it live. Lots of really good data, lots of really good solid information you can use for your 2021 planning. So please feel free to go ahead and do that. But that was my morning. So how about you, sir? What have you been doing?
Well, actually, Paul, before you drop the topic completely, I know I've been getting a couple of emails. I'm sure you've seen them as well. People praising the content of the PACE meeting you had this morning. So yes, I also would encourage our viewers, if you weren't able to sit in on it live, to check it out for yourself after the fact, checking out hopefully the web link, which is now on the screen as I'm talking.
Absolutely. And I use the magic formula of less of me and more of other smart people is better. So you can rely on that being very little of me and lots of the terrific people that we had on the program. So with that, what you got this week for us?
Well, I got a couple of things to share, Paul, actually, since you've been talking about things in the virtual world. We'll stay there for a moment. I actually ran across an item that said that in terms of digital service sales, 2020 is going to be a very, very profitable year for one of the companies we know and love, Nutrien. They say that by the end of this year, they're over $1 billion in digital service sales will be recorded for the company. Now, the item I ran across didn't say what part of Nutrien, but even if it's just the full, if it's the full company, no matter what, I mean, $1 billion sales figure is nothing to sneeze at one way or another here in 2020. So congratulations to Nutrien on that milestone.
Sure. My understanding is that Nutrien does use that for inputs from inputted orders from their sales personnel as well. So a grower can direct it, and then the salesperson puts it in for them on their behalf. So it's not pure just looking for e-commerce like going to Amazon.com. It's pretty collaborative along with the sales reps as well. So I think it's probably a more fair representation of what they're doing, but still, that's a lot of orders online. That's a lot of throughput in terms of products going out.
Yeah. So now I have one of your favorite things, a little quiz for you, Paul.
That's why you didn't tell me beforehand, so I wouldn't.
I wasn't about to. So anyhow, I happen to run across an item. Our friends at Forbes magazine have put out their list at the end of the year, as they do every year, for the top privately held companies in the U.S. in terms of sales for the year. So, Paul, this is a company that is pretty well known to our viewers and to yourself. They're based in the Midwest, and they have multiple interests across various industries, including agriculture. So if I asked you to take a guess who that company would be, Paul, what would you say?
Wow. Wouldn't be Cargill, would it?
Actually, now, it's like you mentioned Cargill. If this was any year between 2006 and 2019, that would be the correct answer. However, here in 2020, we have a new reigning champion among privately held companies in the US, and that would be our friends at Koch Industries, based in Wichita, Kansas. According to Forbes, Koch is on pace to have $115 billion in sales here in 2020. Cargill, the former number one, will have 114.6 billion in sales. So congratulations to our friends at Koch for surpassing Cargill. And as I saw in an item that was talking about this, all the years Forbes has done this, this is only the third time that Cargill did not end up on top of that privately owned company list.
So I'm not stupid, but I'm not current.
No, but again, Koch has been a consistent number two for many, many years. It's just this year, I'm assuming with, because they're one of the bigger nitrogen producers in the country, that fertilizer sales, towards the end of the year, I guess we're coming back a little bit. So that probably helped push their bottom line. Like I said, the difference between both companies, though, is only about 400 million. So expect another race in 2021 between these two corporate giants. So
well, it was quite a good year for fertilizer in the fall for a lot of areas.
Yes,
nice and dry and able to get a lot of work done. So you mentioned Nutrien before. They just announced that they have they're working on a new carbon program, and there's not a lot of detail on there, but on the website, but it's yet another kind of shot across the bow. And I was talking to David about this following the webinar, a little bit about some of the stuff and how seriously should we be taking this? Is this something that we've been watching this for some time, I guess, all the stuff develop, and we've almost gotten to a point of ignoring it because it's just been so far off. But it seems like we're seeing more and more serious plays in the carbon area and sustainability and all that stuff that's delivering value to farmers. And it's just it's interesting, and I think we'll continue to see more of that going forward.
Well, very good. I only have one other item to share. As you know, Paul, the glyphosate has been in the news a lot. And here in 2020, it looked like we were going to get a settlement from our friends at Bayer regarding getting that herbicide out of the courtroom and back into the fields where it belongs. But I did run across a report that EPA has now released a study that says that based on their findings, 90% of endangered species may be adversely affected by glyphosate use. And again, they did note that most of that use was not agriculture. However, this is just another little tidbit that I'm sure you're going to throw out into the public's eye that will make, demonizing glyphosate going forward into 2021 continue, unfortunately.
Well, that's awful.
Yes.
Just an awful number to be able to throw out there from the environmental standpoint with absolutely no context. That's too bad.
Yeah. So we'll have to, like I said, we'll have to follow next year what fallout may come from that report. I'm sure there's more to come.
All righty. Well, with that, I guess we'll wrap up this edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm sure I'll be back in my location, hopefully deck the halls. I mean, you haven't decked the halls. I was expecting spinning.
I have. I mean, I've got my little counter downer here for, so you move the piece of candy for many days. I got it set for when my son gets back to me tomorrow. So, I've got that up, but yes, the major stuff, the trees, I'm going to be putting all that stuff up in the next day or so because my son wanted to help decorate. So,
all righty. Well, we'll look forward to that for sure.
All right.
Well, that's it for this edition of CropLife Retail Week.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.